There are many stories being told, retold, wherever you go, cherished by many. They go on, being handed down to the next generation or to friends nearby. Still, how a story is able to captivate so many, that much isn't an easy answer. Anime is no different. We have stories passed on with such fervor and enthusiasm. Again, I'm not exactly sure as to how the majority agrees on what is have to watch. It may be because of such entertaining human characters that gracefully bring the story to life. Worlds so breathtakingly vast in their scope and history. Imaginative stories that pull you in further and further. Steins does all that and more. The way it masterfully pulled off this balance between light-hearted moments and the tense darker ones made this time-bending journey just amazing. Now with certain characters though, their stories can grow so brutal that I wonder, how do they keep it together? Okabe Rintaro definitely comes to mind, for good reason. In the case that you haven't seen Steins Gate, or the currently airing Steins Gate 0, go watch both, right now. For those who are still with me though, you know how the heart-wrenching fight goes. How he jumps through countless timelines only to witness Mayuri, the person who he wanted to save, his close friend, die a dog's death each time. And this isn't including the immeasurable sacrifices the others make in order to return to the original world line. That's a pretty bleak outlook, which seems full of that pessimism too many of us bask in for much too long. You're probably thinking, there's no way a positive can be found in all this. Someone unforgiving may just see this as the stumbling of a hopeless idiot. But let me tell you, I put a lot of hope in that idiot's stumbling, and so did many others. But why? Part of the answer is with Okabe himself. As a character, a symbol, and an idea. In essence, the show made clear that the important question wasn't what's happening, it's who's this happening to. Our beloved, bilingual mad scientist may have just seemed like a goofy chuny at first, because he was. But that wasn't just gratuitous, self-serving wackiness. What's sincere is his ability, his capacity to sympathize and help others in their suffering. The fact that he's able to construct an entire persona and make it seamless to himself, all for the sake of cheering up another person, should make it plenty clear that he's one that doesn't want to see others suffer, especially if there's anything he could do about it. So, Okabe has a heart of gold, worth more than your yearly income. But why else is it that we keep him so close to our hearts? I'd say it's how he's first built, as an awkward nerd screwing around in a cheap apartment. Establishing the faults and weaknesses of your hero, no matter how small, can really increase the empathy felt for our protagonist, especially when early on. It's a nice suggestion to see that, hey, this person fucks up too, but they get back up? I can do that? But while he comes very close in mirroring the audience, there's something that he possesses that makes him seem so far. Tenacity, if that word can only begin to describe it. It really does leave me speechless every time I think back to it. There's just this sheer willpower he'd summon somewhere deep in himself. Somehow, throughout the series, he'd pick himself up and try again, even as the costs grew ever steeper. Now, if this doesn't sound all that impressive yet, I know. Sounds like your typical blind determination, a requirement for a victor of the story, right? Now let's take a step back to remember something. Okabe is just a regular college student that has friends he wants to hang out with and things to do. Remember? So when all that shit goes down with the Rounders, CERN, and time hopping, Okabe freaking out makes perfect sense. He really doesn't like blood, dead bodies, and the like. Noted. What seems like it shouldn't make sense though, is how he still tries to find a way. He still chooses to look up, towards Makise, towards Mayuri. There's something there, it has to be. I mean, how is it that he's able to choose action even if it means enduring brutal trauma over and over? It'd be much easier if he was to collapse into despair. I know I do, over much, much smaller shit. That's probably why Okabe seems so heroic, awe-inspiring. In the face of such ridiculous odds that he is fully aware of, he still tries to take even just one step towards the world line he wishes to see. I don't know about you, but that screams resilience, determination, bravery, and so many other things. As Okabe took the next painful step, filled with more struggle than the last, it definitely became hard to watch. His path seemed to be a very lonely, bloody one. But even with all the suffering, there was hope. In no small part to Makise's invaluable help, both practical and emotional. Every time the divergence value ticked just a little higher, I let out a small breath of relief. Seeing that desperate hero, our desperate hero, deceive the world and win the fight that he's been at for much longer than what might be humanly possible, that's probably why Steins Gate hit as hard as it did for so many.